हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री दुर्गायै नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So we are seeing the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagwan teaches Arjuna step by step, shows him the path towards enlightenment. So the first step is Karma Yoga, and that Karma Yoga leads to the second step, that is Chitta Shuddhi. Our Antakaran becomes Shuddha. Then the third step, we approach a teacher and gain self-knowledge. So Jnana Prapti, Atma Jnana Prapti. Then the fourth step is Karma Sannyas. That is, we become Yoga Rudha. We become fit for meditation. And the final step is meditation, Dhyana. And with that dhyana, a person becomes free, mukta. Dhyana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. So yogi whose mind has gone into dhyana avastha come to realize that Supreme Brahma. But dhyana is not simple. First of all, we have to prepare ourselves for dhyana. And then step by step, meditate to gain that abidance in ourself. So therefore, in this 6th chapter, in the first 2 verses, Bhagavan again gives the importance of Karma Yoga. He says, those who want to do dhyana, first you follow the path of Karma Yoga, and when you become Yoga Rudha, when you are able to renounce all karma, become free of all your attachments, gain proper understanding of the self, then you can meditate, do dhyana. So Bhagavan says that one should lift oneself by oneself in dhyana. You have to help yourself. No one else will come to help you. So make friendship with your mind, Antakarana. Have your Antakarana in your control, and with a controlled Antakarana, meditate on yourself and gain abidance in yourself and become free. So Bhagavan says, such a dhyana yogi who has recognized, who has made his mind absolutely calm and peaceful and still, recognizes that Paramatma. And one who has recognized his own self as Paramatma gains that equanimity. He sees the presence of that Paramatma in everything, in all situations, in all objects. He gains that Samabuddhi. He becomes Mukta, becomes Jivan Mukta. So in order to become Jivan Mukta, we have to ultimately meditate. So what are the steps to gain that final state of meditation? What are the steps in meditation? That Bhagavan now tells in detail from verse number 10. Very important. So Bhagavan teaches us how to meditate. So let us begin. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi stitaha ekaki yata chittatma nirashira parigraha. Bhagavan says that yogi, here now yogi is dhyana yogi. Bhagavan uses this word yogi for everyone. Everyone means for karma yogi also he calls them yogi. Then a person who has renounced everything is also yogi. Then even a bhakta he calls a yogi. And here dhyana, one who is doing dhyana is also called a yogi. Yogi means one who strives to gain his union with that Supreme. So karma yogi is also yogi. He is also doing his sadhana to finally come to understand his oneness with that Paramatma. So here Bhagavan says, this yogi, dhyana yogi, yunjita satatam. Once we become fit for dhyana, once we have gained that yoga rudha avastha, Bhagavan says, now you meditate. And what is meditation? He says, yunjita satatam atmanam. You place your antakarana in your own self. Yunjita. Yunjita means sama adadhyat. Satatam atmanam antakaranam. The antakarana should be placed in your own self. We will try to understand that. So yogi yunjita satatam. Satatam means all the time. Dirghakala. In Yoga Sutra also, Patanjali Rishi says that when we practice for a long time, then only we gain that firm abidance. Sadirghakala nairantaryena satkara sevita dradabhumihi. Patanjali Rishi tells about abhyas, that abhyas, practice, should be done for dirghakal, for a long time, satatam, without a break, satkara sevita, with lot of reverence towards our sadhana. When we do this like this, then we gain firm abidance in that self. So yogi yunjita satatam, constantly, atmanam yunjita. But what are the conditions which are helpful for meditation? One is, Bhagavan says, rahasi stitaha. Rahasi means sit. Stitaha means sit. Rahasi means in a solitary place. Sit in solitude. Ekante. Giri guhado. Here Shankaracharya ji writes that alone in some cave or some mountain. Mainly one should practice this alone. Meditation is not something which we have to do together. Together we can do upasana. Together we can do prayer. Together you can do that namaz or prayer or namaskar and all those things, satsang and all. But meditation we have to do alone. So rahasi stitaha, because there should not be any distraction from anyone and anything around. So absolutely one should be focused on our goal. So it helps to sit in solitude. And now, whatever the situation because of this pandemic, a lot of people have forcefully got this solitude, or at least we are within our own family. So one can take full advantage of this situation to meditate and gain that abidance in our own self. So solitude is very important. And another point Bhagavan mentions so that it becomes more clear, he says ekaki. Ekaki means alone. So here he is also hinting that a person should renounce everything. Renounce all actions, renounce all sense of doership, renounce all mental attachment to people and things and beings and places, etc. We have to become ekaki. We have to renounce all our connection with this world. See, world we get connected with our mind only. So mentally we have to drop all our sambandha with the world, with the family, relatives, friends, society, nation, world. You don't have to go announce it to the world, but mentally we have to just renounce all sambandha, because all our relation with this world is with respect to the ego. The Atma is related to the world in a different way. Atma, for the self, everything is self. Everything is my own self. But for the ego, everything is different, everyone is different. So the relationship are all of the ego. Somebody is my parents, brother, sister, family, society, religion, nation, politics. All these things are all related to the ego. But as far as that Atma is concerned, for the Atma, everything is Atma Roop only. There are no differences in that self. Just like gold ornaments are there, so from the standpoint of ornament, everything is different. The shapes are different, the names are different, their utility are different. But when you look at them as gold, then everything is gold. As gold, there are no differences. So in meditation, we have to drop all differences created by this ahankar. So drop all sambandha. You are neither somebody's father, mother, sister, brother, wife, husband, daughter. All this sambandha should be dropped from the mind. Therefore, the word ekaki is very important. See, in this meditation is not so simple. One has to achieve all these conditionings. As I said, when our condition of the body mind gets fulfilled, when we are tired and all, we automatically go to sleep. Similarly, when the condition of the body mind becomes conducive to meditation, we go into meditation. So this being ekaki is very important, that one drops all sambandha. Because if I sit as a brother, then I will be thinking of my brother. If I sit as a father, then I will be thinking of my children. If I sit as a husband, then I will think of my wife. If I sit as a wife, I will think of my husband. Whatever role I take upon myself, then I will think of those objects and people related to that role. That's how the mind works. First you give some hint to the mind, and those type of thoughts start coming in the mind. It's like the Google search. You put one word and the whole list of all those things come. So you give an identity to yourself, and all the things related to that identity will come automatically. But when I have to recognize myself, that self doesn't have worldly identity. Self is not somebody's father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, citizen, having Aadhaar card or something. The self is free from all worldly identities. It doesn't have a worldly name, worldly form. It doesn't have any shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. So when we have to meditate on the self, we have to shift our attention from everything else. If I keep staring at something different, then I will not be able to meditate on the self. If somebody points out at the beautiful moon to them, which is there in the sky to me, oh, look at that beautiful moon, but my attention is on the ground, then I will never be able to see that moon. Similarly, if my attention is on all the relatives and friends and all the sambandha, then I will not be able to meditate on that Atma. So Bhagavan uses this term ekaki, alone. Rahasya stitaha and ekaki. Sit in solitude and alone. This is the ideal condition. See, all ideal conditions are mentioned. If we cannot gain ideal condition, then we should try for the second best, third best, fourth best. But ideal is ideal. So satatam atmanam rahasi stitaha yata chittatma. And we should meditate there, but also have all our antakarana, body, senses, mind under our control. Yata chittatma. This we had seen before also. The mind should be under our control. If the mind is in our control, then the mind is like our friend. If it is not under control, then it will act like an enemy. So mind here means antakarana should be under our control. So yata chittatma, one whose chitta is under his control. Chittam antakaranam atma deha sa cha sanyato yasya sa yata chittatma. Everything is under my control. Then again, nirashihi, one should sit without any expectation or any trishna, any desires. That we have seen before also, that any desires in our mind will take us away from meditation. So one should become totally free of all worldly desires and expectation. Our attention should be on the self, should not look back at the world. See, like in a circle, there is the circle and there is a central point. So on the circle, on the circumference, there are infinite points. Also, if it is a plane, that circle, then what you call surface, then there are so many points. But a circle has got only one point, which is called its center. There are millions and billions and infinite points, but only one point is called a center. 2, 3 points or a group of many points are not called center. One point. So if one's attention is on any other point, then it is not a center. Placing the attention only on the center is like placing your attention only on one point. Similarly, meditation should be one-pointed. That one point is Atma. Any attention other than Atma is a distraction. Our attention goes to something else because of our desires. So one should drop all traces of all desires. In fact, the person has become fit by dropping the desires only, but some traces might remain, which also should be dropped. So, nirashihi is a Sanskrit word. Nirashi doesn't mean one should sit there with lot of depression. It is not nirashi in that sense. It is free from all trishna. Vita trishnaha. And aparigraha, without having the dhyana yogi, should not have too many things accumulated around him. Too many objects, when we possess, then they also cause lot of distraction. They also cause distractions. We not only possess objects outside, but too many things which we possess in our head also causes distraction. There are people who will store lots of memories. The memories want to go away. They just want to dissolve, but we want to hold on to them. We don't want to forget. We don't want to forget our childhood. We don't want to forget all the little joys we had. We don't want to forget the different places and things which we have visited. We don't want to forget the different people whom we have met. We don't want to forget different experiences we had. We don't want to forget all the little achievements which we had. If you go to someone's house, you will find a whole cupboard filled with different trophies and all. Certificates, trophies and all those cups and all, which has totally got blackened and has rusted, but still we hold on to them, and we have a little photograph which is also torn little bit. So we hold on to things outside and inside. That's called parigraha. Unko pakadna from all sides. So if you are holding on to a lot of things, you will not be able to meditate, because meditation, as I said, is going alone without carrying any luggage. No luggage. I cannot carry luggage to meditate. See, even in one who wants to go to Swarga, he cannot carry luggage from here. He has to drop everything. But in Swarga we can carry our dharma. But in meditation you can't carry even dharma. That also you have to leave it behind. It is, Atma is beyond dharma as well as adharma. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat. Punya vivarjita pantaha. It is beyond punya and papa. So you can't carry things. So we have to drop this habit of holding on to things outside and holding on to things within. Just drop them. Don't have to be afraid that, oh, I will forget everything, then how will it happen? How can I live? No, forget. Why you want to remember? You don't remember your past lives in which you have done so many things, maybe some interesting thing also. Now you don't remember. What is their use? What has happened, has gone. Bygone is bygone. Yesterday has gone, it has become dead and gone. So one doesn't have to hold on to them. Then you will feel fresh. You will feel alive. You will feel as though you are born anew. Because all the ideas about myself is of the past only, which is nothing but ahankar. Atma is not an idea. Atma is not a past. Atma is not a future. Atma is not a present also, but Atma is pure presence, pure existence. So if you want to experience the beauty of Atma, you have to drop all the possessions. Need not physically drop your TV from your window or something, but mentally drop your identification with everything and everyone. Become totally nobody. Therefore, traditionally, we take sannyas when we want to meditate. Sannyas means we drop our name, which is associated with my family and my society and my caste and religion and all those things. So I just drop that name. The teacher gives us a new name, which is only meant for meditation. name for meditation. So we drop our clothes also and wear different clothes. We drop our place also, go and stay somewhere else. We drop all our acquaintances and friends. We stay in place where we are strangers. If we are surrounded by people who know us and they keep on praising us and worshipping us and doing puja every day of us, we will not be able to meditate. We will be stuck in this samsara only. So one has to drop everything, become a nobody in the world. If people are looking at you, they should not know who you are. Just like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi just dropped all his acquaintances, everything. He just left his home and he just came there to Arunachalam as a nobody. Nobody knew who he is. He did not go declaring himself who he is. He just remained there, meditating. Nobody knew from where he came, what is his background, what is his name. Nothing. People gave him names. Somebody used to call him Mauni Swami because he never talked to anyone. So renunciation doesn't mean that one has to wear a particular dress also, but renounce all your connection with the world. It's a difficult path because we are so attached to everything, we don't want to leave our connection. We are so attached to our identity and our ahankar that we don't want to just drop it. But that is the condition. So here in this verse, Bhagavan gives these 2-3 conditions. One is rahasi stitaha, you sit in solitude. Then ekaki, alone. Solitude, not that go together in solitude. Alone. Yata chittatma, having your antakarana under your control. Nirashihi, dropping all desires. Aparigraha, dropping all parigraha, dropping all possessions which we are holding outside as well as within. A sannyasi is to just carry one kamandalu only and just go roam around. Like our Swami Taponji Maharaj, ideal, great sannyasi who is to just wander in the Himalayas carrying nothing. Whatever dress he is wearing, bas. No carrying any money or food or anything. And very strange, whenever he used to be hungry, he used to get food. Bhagwan is to take care of his needs. That's what Bhagwan said, if you remember me, I will take care of your needs. You go wherever, because the whole world I am there. I will take care of you. So nirashihi aparigraha. If all these conditions are fulfilled, then Bhagwan says, you meditate. Stitaha, sit and meditate. What is meditation? Yunjita satatam atmanam. Constantly practice to place your antakarana, mind, in me, in that self. Atmanam yunjita. Place your antakarana in the self. Now this is very subtle and very important. We have to meditate on our own self, Atma. What is Atma? Atma means I. I am. In this body, we experience our own presence as I am. That is Atma. We experience our own presence in this body as I am. Atma is not out somewhere roaming around. Atma is what we experience in this body as I am. That is Atma. Paramatma, Param Atma is that Atma present in everybody. Atma only expressing in this body is Atma. When it is present in everybody, it is called Param Atma. Atma, Paramatma. Atma, Paramatma is also called Ishvara. So when we say Ishvara, is that one who is present in everybody. Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishtati. Ishvara is one who resides in the heart of all beings. But when we use the term Atma, it means the one who is residing in this body. So first step in meditation is to recognize this Atma. Second step in meditation is to understand the connection of this Atma with Paramatma. But two steps are there. First is to recognize the Atma in this body. And second is to identify this Atma with Paramatma. So how to recognize this Atma in this body? We experience that Atma, as I said, as I am, my whom, whatever be your language. In that language, we experience ourselves as I, मैं, हाँ, aham. So I experience my own presence. But, so what is the problem? The problem is that I experience this presence, my presence, everywhere in my personality. I experience it at the level of the body also. When I think of body, I experience that body as I. When I think of my senses, I experience the senses as I. I say I see, I hear, I taste, I touch. When I think of the mind, I experience that mind as I. I am feeling, I am sad. When I think of the intellect, I experience the intellect as I. I say I have decided, I have understood. When I think of chitta, memory, that also experiences I. I remember, I was. Ahankar is also experiences I. So that I is experienced everywhere, but I is subtler than all this, what I experience. So that I has to be located beyond body, mind, senses. One has to pinpoint, locate that I through meditation. I will give you an example. Let us say, like in some nursery school and all, lot of children, they sit and they sing some nursery rhymes. So some 10, 20 children are there, let us say 20 children are there, and they are singing loudly. What are they singing? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. They are singing. Now you are father of one of the child. So you go to that nursery school and you are standing outside that classroom with your friend who has also come there. So you can hear from the outside, all the children are singing. 20 children are singing. But when you hear, you among the 20 children that sound, you can also, if you hear it very attentively and if you observed it properly, you can hear the sound of your own son also. You tell your friend, oh, my son is also chanting, see, I can hear his voice. There are 20 voices going around, but you can pick up the voice of your son because you have heard it before and you recognize it, you know its lakshanas. See, even in sometimes a lot of people, they sit and sing something or chant something. Sometimes you can recognize, some people have the typical voices, you can recognize, अरे ये तो वो है, शर्मा जी बैठे हुए हैं वहाँ पर, जोर जोर से भजन गा रहे हैं, because you recognize his voice. Sometimes people, they have a typical laughter also, that also you can recognize, oh, my friend is there, I can hear his laughter. But everyone is laughing, but you know your friend. So among all this, you should recognize similarly. Atma is what? The experience I am. Atma is not a thought I am. Atma is not a feeling I am. Atma is that experience I am. In fact, Atma is that because of which I experience I am. So Atma is very subtle. So at present, we experience that I am in body, mind, intellect, senses, etc. So the purpose of meditation, the first step in meditation is to recognize that Atma as different from this body, mind, senses, etc. Locate it properly within. So when you sit alone in solitude, with your mind under your control, having no desires of any objects outside, when you have dropped everything, all your relationship and all your connection with the world, dropped all possession, you can focus your attention within and find out from where this aham, aham, aham vritti is coming. What is the source of this aham, aham, aham? Aham ayam kuto bhavati chinvata. From where does this aham arises? कहाँ से आता है वो? See, in the waking state, we experience aham, मैं हूँ. In the dream state, we experience मैं हूँ, I am. But in deep sleep state, I don't experience I am at that time because there are no thoughts, there is all the mind, intellect and all have become quiet. But I am present in deep sleep. In deep sleep, I don't say I am, but I am present in deep sleep. That is the Atma. That which is present in deep sleep is present even now, but in the waking I have to recognize it, locate it, pinpoint it. उसको पकड़ लेना चाहिए. So आत्मा को पकड़ना ही ध्यान का पहला कदम है. As Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi says, find out who is this I, from where does it arise. That is to catch hold of this I, the Atma. Aham ayam kuto bhavati chinvata. कि कहाँ से उत्पन्न होता है. What is that which is beyond the thoughts also, because the I thought also disappears in deep sleep, but I am there. So when I wake up, I don't say I had disappeared, I say I was there, I was sleeping. I slept happily, peacefully. So the one who was sleeping, who was not even saying I am, when I wake up, I call that Atma as I. I say I was sleeping. So that I is the name of that Atma. Atma doesn't say I, but we have given that name, that I is the name of that Atma. So wakefully, while meditating, we have to locate that I. That is the first step. The second step is to identify this I with Paramatma. That we will see later on. But the first step is the most important. We have to identify this I. See, in the good old days, there used to be the system of Swayamvar. The Rajkumari want to get married, so the king father will call lots of aspiring young prince who want to get married to his daughter. So all of them will be sitting there, and the princess will have a varamala in her hand, and she will look at everyone. There are some 200, 300 of them have assembled there from different kingdoms and all. But she can't marry all of them. So she looks at all of them, and then she chooses one. She puts the varamala around one person, and then she gets married to that prince, and all others go home disappointed after eating the whatever reception food was kept. They will eat and go home disappointed. Maybe go to some other Swayamvar. So the princess is to choose. Sometimes the king will keep some conditions, like Draupadi. Her father kept a condition that whoever shoots that fish which was moving on top, but looking at the reflection, that artificial fish was revolving, rotating. But you have to look into the water, the reflection, and shoot with an arrow. Or like Sita Swayamvar, whoever lifts Shiv Bhagwan's Dhanush can marry Sita ji. So some conditions used to be there. Or the princess used to choose. So here in meditation, also it is like that we have to choose, we have to locate that Atma. आत्मा के साथ जो है स्वयंवर करना है, उनके गले में माला डालनी है. We have to locate that Atma. If you put mala in somebody else's around else's neck, then that is your fail. कई बार हम शरीर के गले में माला डालते हैं, or we put mala around the senses or the mind. But we have to locate that self and put the mala. This example is there in Mundaka Upanishad, I think also in Kathopanishad, कि यमे वैश्य वृणते तेन लभ्यः तस्येष आत्मा विवृणते तनुम स्वाम. The Upanishad says that only the one who chooses that Atma alone gains that Atma. Others don't gain it. We have to locate that Atma. Because that Aham is experienced everywhere, so we have to find out exactly which is that Aham. Therefore, full attention and full concentration is required. See, during rainy seasons, different types of insects, they come. So there is one insect which makes a tremendous sound through its flapping its wings. छोटा सा insect है, flap its wings very vigorously and it makes a tremendous shrieking sound like. Suppose that an insect has come into your house, it is you can hear the sound but you don't know where it is. Sound seems to be coming from the whole room. So you keep on shifting your furniture here, there and lifting your chairs and try to find out कहाँ से आवाज आ रहा है. And finally you locate that insect in a corner. So you pick that insect and throw it outside. Then there is no sound. Similarly, that aham sound is coming from that Atma. Hridaya kuhara madhye kevalam brahma matram aham iti sakshat atma rupena bhati. That Atma is as though making that sound aham. अहमिनाश भाजी अहम तया स्फुरति रुत स्वयं परम पूर्ण सत. That Atma is param purna sat and aham is its purana, is as though it's divine vibration. So in meditation you have to locate that Atma. Just saying that oh I am and all is not enough. You have to find out exactly where that aham is. It is not a one point, actually it is very subtle, very sublime, that Atma we have seen before also. Na jayate mriyate nirvikari. But it should be experienced, directly recognized. This thing should not remain as a theory. See, Shravan, Manan, understanding the self and all is just theory. But in meditation, now we should follow the path of direct experiencing it. So the first you experience that Atma, which is this pure, from where, because of whom that thought of aham is there. I am. When you add something to that I am, then that is all your identification with your body, mind, etc. But that pure I am is the expression of that Atma only. My whom. Therefore everyone experiences that my whom, I am. But what they add later on, I am a boy, I am a girl, I am young, I am old, I am happy, unhappy, all that is added afterwards is all adhyas. Without that adhyas, we have to recognize that I am. That is the first step. This is not the final step. लेकिन ये बहुत interesting and very fascinating. And one has to do it. So that is called Yunjita Satatam. Yogi Yunjita Satatam. इतने एक आधे quarter verse में ही भगवान tells. So Dhyana Yogi should try to place his antakarana in that self, means shift the attention of your antakarana toward the self. See, when I have attention on my senses, then the senses make me see the world outside. When I focus my attention on the eyes, their function is to show me the color and form. Similarly, the mind has got the habit of giving me different types of emotions. But here we have to shift the attention of the mind, the senses, etc. toward the self. I don't want to see the form, color and all of the world. I don't want any emotion. I am not interested in any decision or memories. But I am interested in just locating that pure I am. मैं हूँ, अहम अस्मि, अहम 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 अस्मि. So drop all additional thoughts and identification. Pure अहम अस्मि पर ध्यान केंद्रित करना है. I am. And it should be located. It is not a mind, it is not intellect. It is the sakshi of the mind and intellect. That Atma is the sakshi of even ahankar. It is the sakshi of the body. Sakshi means it is a witness without involvement. जैसे हम अपने बालकनी से नीचे देखते हैं, अरे क्या हो रहा है, what is happening. Some people are arguing there on the street and you are seeing from your third floor balcony. So you are just a sakshi. You are not interested in either of them who are arguing, but you are just observing. Sakshi. Similarly, Atma is the sakshi of the mana, buddhi, chitta, hankar, indriyas, sharir. Atma is the sakshi of stula sharir and sukshma sharir. There is no karana sharir. Avidya is what we call karana sharir. It doesn't have any existence. So stula sharir and sukshma sharir alone are there, and Atma is the sakshi. So that is the first step. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi stitaha ekaki yata chittatma nirashira parigraha. So you can practice at home, you practice this. Unless we practice, we will not know. So just sit quietly and find out from where this aham asmi, what is the root of that aham asmi within yourself. Don't have to look outside. Within this body, within your antakarana, locate that place from where the I thought arises. The aham asmi vritti arises. That is the Atma. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Stitaha. Bhagavan says, I am the Atma present in everyone's heart. So locate that Atma. That is the first step. Other steps we will see in our class tomorrow. So this is a homework for you. Sit quietly. Anytime during the day, at night or day, whenever. And try to just ask yourself or say to yourself, aham, mai hu, in your own language. Don't use Sanskrit language if you don't know it. Aham. Main, how, me. And find out from where it is coming. From where that, which is the source of that. Just ask this question and locate it. Just like I said, the insect making sound, you may not know the name of that insect. You don't have to know the name. You don't have to know the form of the insect also. You're just tracing the sound. And when you trace the sound, you can locate that insect. Similarly here, you trace that thought, I am, and locate from where it is arising. You don't have to know any name, form, structure or anything. Just उसका source देखो within yourself, and that is your first step. Okay? More we'll see in our class tomorrow. So till then you take care. Remain safe, healthy, peaceful, happy. Pray to Bhagwan. Pray for the welfare of the whole world. And we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siyava Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.